During U-47's career, she sank a total of 31 enemy vessels and damaged 8 more, including the British battleship Ems Royal Oak on 14 October 1939. 47 ranks as one of the most successful German U-boats of World War I. A subsequent disappearance and apparent loss was the first of several devastating blows to the Kriegsmarine during 1941 that included the loss of the battleship Bismarck only 2 months later. 47 was laid down February 27, 1937, as a Type VE boat during Germany's extensive rearmament for war. Unlike the earlier VE U-boats, the B-series had an added 33 tons of fuel storage inside mounted saddle tanks on either side of the craft. Other, more minor improvements included faster performance and top speeds, as well as better maneuvering due to a dual rudder system. 47 boasted a complement of 4 officers and 56 enlisted men. She carried a mix of torpedoes and mines, as well as possessing a deck gun and single anti-aircraft gun. The captain of U-47 was Günther Praen, a sailor since joining the German Merchant Marine in 1923. Praen had joined the Reichsmarine, later the Kriegsmarine, in 1933. Having served aboard U-26 in the Spanish Civil War and rising to the rank of sub-lieutenant by 1937, Praen was assigned to U-47 for construction training and commanded U-47 from her commission date until her disappearance. Praen was said by many to be a competent and popular commander and well-liked by his fellow officers and crew, though some historians believe him to have been a strict disciplinarian. Disliked by those under him who didn't allow his own humanity to interfere with carrying out his duties. Along with Praen in command was 3 officers and 56 enlisted men. This crew was often subject to change due to reassignment and promotion. 47 carried out 9 successful patrols in its career and disappeared while engaged in the 10th patrol. Her first patrol began 2 weeks before the outbreak of W2. This was a preemptive move, as the German military wanted its forces placed to take maximum advantage of the start of the conflict. Before the outbreak of war, 47 circumnavigated the British Isles and arrived at the Bay of Biscay in time for the beginning of hostilities. With unrestricted submarine warfare not yet a feature of the war, Praen adhered to the Second London Naval Treaty when engaging ships on his first patrol, not engaging non-Allied shipping and allowing ships to be evacuated before sinking them. The first patrol ended in September 1939, with 3 vessels sunk and all their crews allowed to survive. It was on the second patrol that 47 and Günther Praen made history, penetrating through the anti-submarine defense at the Royal Navy base of Scapa Flow and torpedoing the battleship Royal Oak. 800 men lost their lives when the warship sank within 15 minutes. Before their return home, Sub-Lieutenant Engelbert Endras painted a large snorting bull emblem on the conning tower. He later said this was due to the appearance of Praen during the Scapa Flow attack, who resembled a hunched and snorting bull. For this action, the entire crew was awarded the Iron Cross, while Praen, Endras, and the chief engineer were awarded the Knight's Cross. Endras was promoted to the U-46 shortly after this, and left to 47 at the end of her 3rd patrol. On her 3rd patrol, 47 sank 3 more vessels and narrowly avoided a depth charge attack by a British destroyer. By the 4th patrol of U-47 in March of 1940, submarine warfare had become entirely unrestricted. Many U-boat captains carried out unrestricted attacks from the outbreak of the war. On this patrol, only a Danish steam merchant ship was sank. 47's 5th patrol was the first to result in no victories, despite an attempt to sink the British battleship Ems Warspite, which almost caused the loss of the U-boat when several British destroyers carried out depth charge attacks. The 6th patrol was the first in which U-47 hunted as part of a wolf pack. This would become a common tactic of the battle for the Atlantic and double for the Atlantic in W2. During this patrol, they sank 8 ships after only 34 days at sea. Her 7th patrol resulted in 6 more merchant and passenger ships sank, and upon her return to port in September of 1940, it marked the first time U-47 had docked at a French port, as these were now under German control. It was during this patrol that a man was reportedly lost overboard while the deck gun was being fired. The 8th patrol lasted only 10 days, but involved the sinking of 4 vessels and 2 more damaged. During the 9th patrol, 47 sank only 1 ship and damaged 3 others. Final patrol and disappearance. 47 left her now home port of Lorient in France for the last time on the 20th of February 1941. This patrol was to be another North Atlantic patrol. 47 patrolled well south of other German wolf packs at the time, pre-located and repeatedly attacked convoy of 290. These attacks resulted in 2 sinkings. Cran continued his pursuit of the convoy for several days, but was unsuccessful in sinking anymore. Convoy Up 290 would later lose 7 more ships off the west coast of Ireland due to attacks by Focke-Wulf Condor aircraft of the German Luftwaffe. 47 sighted and reported convoy Up 293 on the 6th of March and was soon joined by U-99, U-70 and UA. 47 was reported missing sometime after it had intercepted convoy Up 293 on March 7. Convoy Up 293 was sailing from Liverpool with an escort of 2 destroyers and 2 corvettes. At this point in the war, escort wasn't provided across the Atlantic, and the convoy would have to rely on its speed to safely cross shortly after passing Ireland. On the night of 6-7 March, the Wolfpack had made its attack. 99 had begun the attack, coming from Head. On, she had sunk a tanker ship and damaged a whale factory ship. 70 then sank a freighter on the edge of the convoy before damaging a Dutch ship that turned and tried to ram them, forcing a crash dive. Boa then hit another freighter with a torpedo but failed to sink it. The escorting warships immediately opened fire with over 100 depth charges expended during a 5-hour engagement, which forced the U-99 to dive deep and wait out the attack. Ua was damaged but escaped, and U-70 was forced to the surface where she was sunk. Throughout all of this, U-47 managed to torpedo and damage a freighter while continuing to pursue the convoy and radio for more assistance. On the following night, Hem's Wolverine, a destroyer with the convoy, sighted what it believed to be U-47 and attacked. During a 4-hour attack, Wolverine and Hem's Verity, another destroyer, forced the U-boat to the surface within yards of them before it dived again, and a cluster of depth charges finally brought about a large underwater explosion, and flames reached the surface. When 47 was reported missing, the loss of the ship and Priam's apparent death were kept secret until the 23rd of May. The British Parliament was informed of the sinking by Winston Churchill, and propaganda broadcasts by the BBC taunted the Germans, asking, "Where is Prime?" The Germans finally acknowledged the loss of U-47 by saying that due to the boat not returning from its last contact with the enemy, the loss of the U-boat had to be assumed. U-47's record under Gunther Prien remains one of the highest of the whole war, with 238 days at sea and 30 vessels sunk. It wasn't until 1990, when a comparison was made of the logs of both Hem's Wolverine and Ua, that it was discovered the submarine sighted and attacked by the convoy that had been believed to be U-47 was in fact Ua all along, that it suffered damage but made it home. This raised the question of what had actually happened to 47. The convoy's escort corvettes, Arbus and Camellia, have been suggested as having sank a 47, but no record exists from their logs that supports this. Other theories put forward include a malfunction. Several have been noted and repaired before U-47 sailed on this patrol. Impact with another ship or U-boat has also been explored and has been ruled as unlikely by the majority of historians, who have found no record of an impact occurring as has. Impact with a mine as convoy of 293 wasn't operating near any known minefields. Impact from one of its own torpedoes, or one fired by another U-boat, remains a possibility, but one that couldn't be verified without first locating the wreck. The vessel's loss remains unexplained to this day, while it is still believed to be somewhere among the Rockall banks. New 99 would be scuttled during another attack on the 17th of March. Ewa was pulled from frontline duty in 1942 and was scuttled in 1945 when Germany surrendered. Prien was posthumously promoted to lieutenant commander on the 18th of March 1941. What do you believe to be the likely cause of the loss of the U-boat and its 45 crew, and do you think it will ever be solved?